Guardian, a British newspaper, in its report has mentioned that the Indian government was allegedly behind the killings of almost 20 individuals in Pakistan. Citing Indian and Pakistani intelligence operatives, the Guardian added that these killings were reportedly part of India's plan to eliminate terrorists living on foreign soil. The report also claims that India's research and analysis wing, RAW, was behind almost 20 killings since the year 2020, and among those targeted were Khalistani separatists operating from abroad. RAW allegedly paid sleeper cells operating out of UAE. The Ministry of External Affairs, though, to all of these claims made in the report, has denied the allegations, terming them false and malicious anti-India propaganda. The Indian government officials have also consistently, denied involvement in any of these killings, with External Affairs Minister Yeh Shankar claiming time and again that targeted killings in other countries were not the Indian government's policy. So that is the pointed rebuttal that has come in from the External Affairs Ministry, that this is not India's policy. But to put this entire story in perspective, let's take you through some of the key excerpts of what the Guardian has claimed in this particular piece of article, wherein it has cited what Indian and Pakistani intelligence officials have maintained. Let's quickly take you through the excerpts one by one. We have the clippings as well, but here's what it says. Big claim by Pakistan intelligence officials: India assassinated terrorists in Pakistan. Assassinations are a strategy of the government of India. Squarely pinning it on the government of India. Emboldened approach after 2019. Remember, this is when the Modi government began with its second term. Claims 20 killings since 2020, and all of these killings, remember, are being alleged took place on the foreign soil. Also alleges operations orchestrated via Dubai. Some of these plannings, strategies were carried out via Dubai is what the letter claims, and cites that India's MEA has also denied these claims, and that, remember, ladies and gentlemen, is the official position of India as well. The MEA has come out to say that these are false and fabricated claims. The Prime Minister also, interestingly, while addressing a rally, very recently accused the Congress for not taking action against terrorism. He, of course, was talking about the Modi government's doings and the Modi government's approach when it comes to issues such as national security. But the Prime Minister wrote that New India will get inside the houses of those against India and will kill them one by one. Let's hear it from the Prime Minister as well.
सेनाओं का अपमान, देश का विभाजन, ये कांग्रेस पार्टी की पहचान है। जब तक इंडी अलायंस के लोग सत्ता में रहे, इन्होंने हमारे जवानों के हाथ बांध कर रखे। दुश्मन हमला करके चला जाता था, ये जवानों को जवाब देने की इजाजत नहीं देते थे। हमारे जवान वन रैंक वन पेंशन की मांग करते थे, कांग्रेस ने इसे भी पूरा नहीं होने दिया। हमारी सरकार बनी तो हमने सैनिकों को वन रैंक वन पेंशन का अधिकार भी दिया और सीमा पर पलटवार करने की छूट भी, खुली छूट दे दी। आज दुश्मन को भी पता है ये मोदी है, ये नया भारत है। ये नया भारत घर में घुसकर मारता है। मैं जब 26 फरवरी 2019 में चुरू आया था, तो उसी समय देश ने बालाकोट में एयर स्ट्राइक की थी। हमने आतंकियों को सबक सिखाया था और तब मैंने जो शब्द कहे थे, चूरू की धरती पर जिन शब्दों को मैंने दोहराया था, मैं आज फिर एक बार इस वीरों की धरती पर आया हूं, तो मेरे उन भावों को दोहराता हूं। तब मैंने कहा था, यही चूरू में कहा था सौगंध मुझे इस मिट्टी की, सौगंध मुझे इस मिट्टी की, मैं देश नहीं मिटने दूंगा, मैं देश नहीं रुकने दूंगा, मैं देश नहीं झुकने दूंगा। मेरा वचन है भारत मां को, तेरा शीश नहीं झुकने दूंगा।
And ahead of elections, the Congress has once again raked up Pulwama, linking the surgical strikes to elections, says that these are only attempts to garner votes. Listen in. Well, Deepak, my colleague, joins us with more details. Before I take in a word from Pradeep Datta, Deepak, over to you. Put this entire reaction of the Congress leader in perspective for us, because it's not the first time that leaders of the Congress party have raked Pulwama, have raised questions on Balakot airstrikes. What was he talking about when he made a reference to surgical strikes, and how is it that he pinned the blame squarely on the Modi government?
Well, time and again, like you mentioned, Christine, the Congress leaders, of course, keep breaking up this issue. We've seen multiple leaders, very senior leaders of the Congress party as well, say similar things. This is another MLA, this is Srinivas from Gubbi. This is in Tumkur, during a campaign rally, trying to tell the people that the BJP uses such instances only to garner votes. They are even drawing parallels of now using the name of Bhagwan Sri Ram, earlier using the surgical strikes, and they're saying that after Pulwama, they're raising questions whether there was any person who was actually apprehended over the arrest, and trying to communicate to the people that the BJP is only trying to politicize all of this for their own political gain.
Okay, so the BJP deliberately politicizes these strikes for its political gains, and given this is election season, of course, it's being used as an opportunity by some in the opposition, including Gubbi Srinivas, the Congress leader. Let's hear it from him once again, and then I'll take it across to Pradeep as well. Let's quickly hear it from Nalan Kohli of the BJP, also joining us on the phone line. Mr. Kohli, who you just heard was Gubbi Srinivas of the Congress party, once again linking surgical strikes to elections. He says this is BJP's strategy to garner votes, and that's what is being done this time around as well, when the Prime Minister raises it time and again in election rally after election rally.
It is most unfortunate and extremely condemnable that the Congress party and any senior leader of the party can come out with something as absurd as this. Pulwama was a terrorist incident in which our brave hearts were killed. Can anyone even insinuate indirectly that the BJP would have wanted something like that to happen? It's shocking, unacceptable. Then after that, those terror organizations that were involved in it were given a befitting reply, again by our brave soldiers of the Air Force, who went across the border when Balakot took place. The Congress party and its leaders often have asked questions that one would wonder whether they wish to sympathize with the terrorists and not even believe our armed forces. Where is the proof? They asked. Some trees got destroyed, somebody else said. Leader after leader mocked it. Is this how you go about it when the Air Force itself said they carried out a very successful airstrike, destroyed a terrorist base, a hideout, a training ground? So the Congress party, for the sake of rank vote bank politics, is willing to cross every level, willing to stoop to the lowest levels and make allegations that no person would ever even dream of making, which involve our armed forces and involves a government that has gone out of its way to ensure that India and Indians are safer.
Okay. You know, the Congress leader seems to be taking it a step further, Mr. Nalin Kohli, because he didn't just stop at saying, you know, that this is perhaps an election strategy on part of the BJP, and I'm talking about retaliatory strikes by our armed forces personnel. But he's also, in a sense, trying to question the BJP by saying that the Pulwama attack in itself perhaps was manufactured for the same reason.
Exactly. Can you even believe something like that? This is coming from a Congress party where even Rahul Gandhi ji said there is saffron terror. All of this is based on the old strategy of the Congress party to build a vote bank narrative to please a certain section against the larger section. It's as simple as that. Saffron terror was a manufactured word. It did great harm to the Hindu and Sanatan believers across the world. Why? Because the Congress party wanted to create a sort of a counter narrative against Islamist terror. So I think the Congress party and its leaders are willing to go to any extent for vote bank politics, as proved yet again.
Okay. You're calling it an attempt once again to play vote bank politics. But many thanks, Mr. Nalin Kohli, for speaking to us. To put this in perspective, before I take it across to my colleague Pradeep once again, let's hear it from the Congress MLA, rake the Pulwama issue and pin the blame squarely on the Bharatiya Janata Party. Pradeep, I want to ask you this. Isn't this Congress leader in that sense playing into the hands of Pakistan, the same quote-unquote Pakistan intelligence officials who have made these claims of how India is targeting personnel, rather terrorists on Pakistani soil, wherein it's Pakistan, remember, that's been rearing snakes in its own backyard, and India has made its official position amply clear. Isn't a Congress leader such as Gubbi Srinivas really, you know, playing Pakistan's narrative here in India while saying that this is an attempt by the Modi government to target vote bank, and that's why all of this is being manufactured in the run-up to elections?
Christine, you're absolutely right. In fact, such statements by a Congress leader is not going to benefit them, but definitely it's going to harm India, because you rightly said they are playing into the hands of Pakistan, and they are trying to run their narrative, because Pakistan, when they carried out Kargil attack, that time also they said we were not involved. In 26/11 also they said that Ajmal Kasab was not a Pakistani. He was wearing a thread on his wrist, so he was a Hindu. It was part of a saffron terror. And during the Pulwama bombing also they started putting question marks. They are the same people who asked for the sabut. They are the same people who called even surgical strike a surgical strike. But I think what is appreciable is that one need to appreciate is that what Prime Minister said, Ghar Mai Ghus ke Maara, because we have seen a paradigm shift in the military strategy after Uri strike. We saw that for the first time Indian forces were able to cross line of control, and they were able to demolish many of their terror training camp. And the message was sent louder and clearer to Pakistan that if you will keep on violating line of control, this will not be sacrosanct for us. We can also go and hit you harder where it's going to hurt you most. And exactly the same thing happened after Pulwama bombing also. This time it was a surgical strike carried out by Indian Air Force when they entered and went 65 kilometers deep inside the Pakistani territory, and they were able to demolish and decimate Jaish-e-Mohammed headquarters. But something this is not palatable to Congress party, because they keep on politicizing valor of troops. That's really unfortunate, not realizing that if the government of India is saying something, our soldiers, we have lost 40 of our bravehearts, and even after that we are trying to put a question mark. See what Pakistan is doing.
We did lose 40 of our bravehearts in the Pulwama attack, and yet the Congress leader has the gumption to draw this kind of a reference, to draw this kind of a parallel. But let's hear it from the Prime Minister as well, Pradeep, because in one of his poll rallies, he sent the message straight to the Congress party, said it was the Congress that did not act against terrorism, and he drew that parallel while talking about the Modi government's vision when it comes to issues such as national security. Listen in.
मैं जब 26 फरवरी 2019 में चुरू आया था, तो उसी समय देश ने बालाकोट में एयर स्ट्राइक की थी। हमने आतंकियों को सबक सिखाया था और तब मैंने जो शब्द कहे थे, चूरू की धरती पर जिन शब्दों को मैंने दोहराया था, मैं आज फिर एक बार इस वीरों की धरती पर आया हूं तो मेरे उन भावों को दोहराता हूं। तब मैंने कहा था, यही चूरू में कहा था, सौगंध मुझे इस मिट्टी की, सौगंध मुझे इस मिट्टी की, मैं देश नहीं मिटने दूंगा, मैं देश नहीं रुकने दूंगा, मैं देश नहीं झुकने दूंगा। मेरा वचन है भारत मां को, तेरा शीश नहीं झुकने दूंगा।
Meanwhile, politics has also erupted over the Guardian's report against India. The BJP on one hand mocked Pakistan, saying they're unable to control their country and called this allegation nonsense. On the other hand, we've seen more political reactions come in from, let's say, a national conference as well, who say, though while trying to safely maintain distance through this report, with this report, they've come out to say that the country, Pakistan, perhaps is not in a position today to raise these questions with India.
Let me first clarify that ISI, the Pak Inter-Service Intelligence Agency, is very good at creating narratives. They have been creating narratives for Kashmir. They have been creating narratives for many things. And this is another one that they have tried. I think over a period of time, they have just been, creating a finish of this. Something was coming on social media. Now they have put it on Guardian, a paper which actually lost its credibility long time back.
जो एजेंसी है, मुझे उस पर कोई टिप्पणी नहीं करनी है, लेकिन एक बात मैं देख रहा हूँ कि आतंक के अखाड़े में आटे की आफत है। जो उन्होंने आतंक के अखाड़े में अगर आटे की आफत हो और इस तरह के वो बेहुदा बातें करेंगे तो अपने को संभाल नहीं पा रहे हैं पूरे देश में, आप दुनिया में जो है वो आप कटोरा लेके घूम रहे हैं।
देखिए, पहली बात यह है कि कौन करा रहा है, कौन नहीं करवा रहा है, इसकी तरफ तो नहीं जाऊंगा मैं, लेकिन ये हिस्ट्री बनी हुई है कि जब किसी के घर को कोई आग लगाता है तो वो खुद भी जलता है। आसार अब लगे हैं कि जो इधर की तरफ चल पड़े थे आप उधर की तरफ चल पड़ा है। ये स्ट्रैटेजी बदलती रहती है, उनको भी झुलसना है और झुलस रहे हैं।
तो आपको लगता है कि जो आतंकवादियों को हाशिर हो रहा है वो सही हो रहा है?
बिल्कुल होना चाहिए, क्योंकि जो बंदूक उठाता है उस बंदूक से ही मरता है।